getting into a car that's unlocked, breaking a window. It ramps up slowly to the point where now it's in a garage, taking a bike out of a garage. That's a residential burglary. You do it, you don't get caught. Next time it's, I'm gonna try this door handle. No one seems to be home, door seems to be unlocked. I'm gonna go inside, steal a laptop. That is now a strike. So the reason crime is up is because there's a lot of failures between low-level misdemeanor and felony where we can catch people and get them off of that criminal justice pathway, get them the treatment they need. We've lost those tools. So that is a challenge. Crime is up in every category. And so I'm probably gonna be asked about that later, how am I gonna solve it? And I can share with you what I think will work.
Thank you.
He's like, oh man, we're only on question 3, this girl can talk. Hopefully I've incorporated some of the other answers.
Sure. So our next question is, what do you believe are the top 3 issues related to the Black community? And what are or will be your solutions if elected?
So that's a really great question. First of all, let me just say, it may be obvious to you, it may not, I'm not Black. I'm gonna need you to teach me. I'm gonna need you to partner with me. I'm gonna need you to tell me what your needs are, what your challenges are. And as mayor, we're gonna have a partnership. We're gonna have a task force that's gonna identify for me what are our short, mid, and long-term goals. But I'm doing my very best to educate myself. And what I have learned in going around the city and talking to people and reading a lot of stuff. You guys know Dr. Holly, Lydia Holly? She gave me a stack of white papers that was like this big of articles. The State of Black Long Beach, the Weed and Seed Program, the Human Relations Commission, all this stuff on reconciliation and equity that was discussed when Mayor O'Neill was the mayor of the city, that we actually never followed through on. We as a city just did not follow through on a lot of the plans. And so I've done my best to study it from an academic point, but I've also talked to people. So basic things that people want that have been sharing with me is access and opportunity, meaningful opportunity. Opportunities for housing, opportunities for home ownership, opportunities for better representation on city commissions, opportunities for city jobs, and they want their neighborhoods paid attention to.
And businesses. And businesses.
And businesses, yes. Yeah, Mark and I are small business owners.
I'm for the business aspect.
Yes. So Mark and I are small business owners. I will tell you, if I can just go to that real quick, the city currently does zero in terms of business recruitment and retention. We allocate $0 to it. Every time, I'm starting to lose Zoom customers, by the way, they're dropping off. Don't leave us, it's gonna get good. Every time someone stays in a hotel, they pay a TOT tax. And it's called transit occupancy tax. A percentage of that goes to recruiting tourists, making the city attractive. That's great, we should give more than the percent that we give. We don't have anything like that for business. We need to develop something like that for business. So we have a $3.2 billion budget. The second source of revenue for the city of Long Beach, the second highest source, is sales tax revenue. $82 million last year was sales tax revenue. So what I'd like to do is work on our projections for fiscal year 24. What's our projected sales tax revenue? Let's say it's 85 million, okay? Because we're expecting consumer trends to continue to go in a positive direction. We set the base threshold for our general fund budget at $85 million. Anything above that $85 million, we would take 1% of that and allocate it to business recruitment and retention. And we would work with our partners, like the Long Beach Economic Partnership, to help allocate that money into business recruitment and retention. What do I mean by that? Mark and I are small business owners. City has never reached out to us to say, hey guys, how you doing? You need some help? Can we help you train your staff so that someday when they leave your employ, they can become entrepreneurs? Can we help offer that kind of training to train your staff up? How about you guys have a shop? Would you like to open a second shop in the city of Long Beach? How great would that be if we had our own local franchises? The city could help with the seed money to do that. We don't have anything like that. Now, Mark went through Long Beach City College to get help because they have a small business mentoring program. But we need to make sure that, one, all of our businesses know about those resources that we have available, and that we bring those resources to our small businesses, especially our Black and brown businesses. We have several Black-owned businesses in the 3rd District, and we help them through the process. Craft and Light is an example. It's in Naples. Her store is located smack dab in the whitest neighborhood in the city of Long Beach, and she's doing great. And I am so proud of her. I have a business liaison on my office, and when she wanted to start her business, we were, instead of paying a lobbyist to get her through the system, she worked with us. We helped her through every stage of the process, and she was so grateful. And she's a huge supporter because of that. Because nobody else in the city was willing to hold their hand and be like a concierge through the process. That's what you need when you're a small business owner. And you know this, just the tenant improvements, getting all the approvals. It's been a while for you, but we just opened ours 3 years ago. Waiting for them to give you the final approval so you can open your doors and charge customers is the most painful month of your life. Because you think you're ready to go, and then they say, oh, Southern California Edison will be there in the next 1 to 14 days. 1 to 14 days, we're paying rent on this property. 14 days is a half a month's rent. That's a lot of money, $5,000. Who's gonna pay for that? City doesn't even understand how that kind of thing affects people. They assume that business owners have the money to be able to bear their unrealistic regulations. And it's ridiculous because we're just normal people. We have to go through our savings to help keep our business alive, just like everybody else does. And so we definitely need, but I think Black businesses specifically are underrepresented. We need to do whatever we can to help them get a bump in being evaluated for city contracts. The city like this whole thing that I'm talking about with the nonprofits, we bring in 9 nonprofits. The city decides who they're gonna contract with. We should get incentives, we should give incentives and give preference to Black-owned businesses, brown-owned businesses.
And our nonprofits.
And our nonprofits, absolutely. Because we do have a lot of minority-run nonprofits, like Patina Holidays operation at Motel 6. But yes, so those are some of the things that the community has brought to my attention. I think just feeling respected and having a proportionate share of the assets of the city given to them, at least, is something that has to be a priority for the city.
Thank you. What actions would you take to strengthen the framework for reconciliation if elected?
Well, I think that we are all very committed to making sure that the framework of reconciliation in its current form, as well as its multiple previous forms brought on by leaders in this city way before my current council got on there, are taken seriously. But how do they appear in a practical context? So to me, the biggest priority for me would be in city employment first, and in police reform. Those are the 2 areas where I really want to focus on when we're talking about reconciliation. The first would be in city employment. You know, I can tell you that I have never been part of the dominant culture. I'm a woman, and I look different, and I work in an industry where almost everyone around me, especially in leadership, is a white male. It has been very, very difficult for me to find my place in that environment and to be able to advance in that environment. But now that I am there, I routinely have women say to me, especially women of color, that me being there makes them feel like they can accomplish the same goals and they can accomplish the same successes. There's something about seeing people who look like you, who may have had a similar path in life, get to a certain place that makes you want to do that too. City jobs are stable jobs, they're well-paying jobs, they offer pensions, and I think it's important for us to try to get our communities that have been underrepresented in the past more incentives to apply for city jobs and help them stay in the city of Long Beach. In the area of police reform, I always say there's very few professions where if somebody makes a mistake, it can impact somebody's life and the life of their family forever. And criminal justice is one of those professions. So the body worn cameras and offering that transparency and accountability is certainly one area, but it's just a start. One of the things that I brought to our city council, and our police department will be participating in it, is attendance and participation in Georgetown Law School's ABLE program. ABLE program is based on bystandership liability. It is proven to be the #1 way for police reform to happen from a top-down level. It stands for the premise that your acts are my acts. So if a police officer is with a partner, and that partner does something that is either in violation of the policy or just not right, and they don't report it, and it comes to light later through the body-worn camera, they can be held liable in the same way as the person who actually perpetuated the conduct. It stands for the premise that your acts are my acts. And you have to apply to get accepted into this program. And Long Beach PD applied, and we were accepted, and it's a multi-million-dollar training program. And I'm super excited that we're gonna be participating in it. Because if communities don't trust the police, then having more police on the streets is not gonna help crime prevention or crime solution in those communities. And so we have to work on that as part of our framework for reconciliation.
Sorry, I just want to be mindful